Hey, so somebody left me a comment this morning on one of my videos that said, this isn't Neville, this is law of attraction. And I actually I've been thinking about this for a while, and I wanted to make a video about this. When you are first introduced to, I think, the idea that all of this is the actual true nature of reality, that you control your outer reality with your inner reality, I think is kind of it in a nutshell, and that you can create whatever you want by changing your inner reality in whatever way you go about doing that, of which there are a million. I think when you're first introduced to this, different ways of saying it can seem like completely different things. So you read like Esther Hicks, or you read Neville Goddard, or you read Wallace Wattles, Science of Getting Rich. Or you read Deepak Chopra, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And they seem like completely different. The 4 Agreements. It amazes me how things are all saying the same thing. You read these books, and it seems like the authors are presenting you with different ways that you could view life, essentially, right? Like it's almost like they're laying out different paths that you could take that lead to a different destination. But the thing is, every one of these leads to the same place. And when you get that, when you realize what that same place is, and you sort of arrive there looking around and look back, you realize that they were all saying the exact same thing. Okay, so like, for example, Neville Goddard talks about your imagination. Esther Hicks calls it the vortex. Deepak calls it the field of pure potentiality. Reality Transurfing calls it the alternative space. They're all referencing the same, they're all talking about the same thing. What else? What other buzz terms does Esther use that everybody hates? Vibration. Esther talks about raising your vibration to get the things that are in your vortex. Neville Goddard talks about adopting the state to get the thing that you're imagining. They're saying the same thing. There's no meaningful difference between any of these. It is the attempt of multiple different human beings to take this spiritual truth and understanding and translate it through their experience, their language, their understanding, and their limitations. That's all it is. They all have limitations, you know. It's kind of heavily debated whether or not Neville Goddard thinks that you should try to get a specific person. You know, they all have limitations. I have to be honest, I'm not really that into the law of attraction stuff. I saw The Secret when it came out, and I vaguely remember it, but I don't know what everybody's problem is with the law of attraction stuff, honestly. I mean, it's you know, commercial sort of modern packaging for all this stuff. It's you know, it's packaged to deliver to a broad audience, and maybe that's what, you know, the purists don't like about it. But getting hung up on whether or not, you know, something belongs in Neville or belongs in law of attraction is missing the whole point. When I had my first spiritual awakening at 23, the 2 books that really, I picked up A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson, just sort of like, I had it on my bookshelf somehow. It was a book that my dad gave my mom like in 1992, and it was sitting on my shelf in 2002, and I just happened to be kind of despairing, and I picked it up. I'll put a link to my video about my first spiritual awakening in case you care. But I picked it up and read it, and it really spoke to me, as did a lot of the stuff in A Course in Miracles. But I started to recognize the deeper spiritual truth, and I kind of chickened out, right? And I also, during that summer, another thing that I listened to on repeat, just like over and over, was Deepak, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. Okay. And at the time, I knew that a return to love and the 7 spiritual laws of success were two things. Essentially, I didn't realize they were talking about the same thing, like at all. And then when I picked up the science of getting rich, that seemed like a completely different thing from those two things. And it wasn't until I read everything by Neville Goddard that it kind of made it click for me. This is the language that speaks to me. I get it. I get the spiritual truth behind this. I get, I understand the nature of things suddenly. And then I was thinking, after I made that video about my spiritual awakening, I was thinking I should really pick up a return to love again. And I should really pick up the 7 spiritual laws of success, because I bet they would be even more meaningful to me now. And when I started reading the 7 spiritual laws of success, I could not believe my eyes. It read to me exactly like Neville Goddard does. They're talking about the same things. They're talking about different ways of introducing your intention into the field of possibilities that exists and causing them to come about effortlessly. The whole first chapter, I think it was the first chapter of 7 spiritual laws of success, is the Neville Goddard visualization intention technique. It's the same thing. It's just it's explained in different words. This is actually really comforting to me. I don't know. But when you get that deep understanding of the nature of things, all of a sudden it just becomes really clear as you understand the truth. When you read what somebody else is saying, you can see that they understand the truth too, and then their words make sense. So I just wanted to say that, because there's a lot of weird, prejudice and for lack of a better phrase, there's a lot of people throwing shade at each other about the different, well, you're a law of attraction person, you're a Neville Goddard person, I don't know. Ain't nobody got time for that. It's all the same thing at the end of the day. And, you'll have to I am yet another person who is now trying to filter this understanding through my human brain, my human experience, and, placing my own limitations on it, pretty sure. So you have to just listen, and, the things that don't feel right to you, reject them, because your reality is whatever you believe it's going to be. Perhaps I feel like my reality functions the way I want it to, with certain rules and regulations in place. And so you have to keep that in mind. Everybody sort of has their own approach to life. Everybody has their own way they like things. And so, everybody, I think, should try to strive to continually become more and more actualized and awakened, and be cognizant of beliefs that don't serve them, and, limitations that they've placed on themselves that don't serve a purpose. But yeah, you just have to keep in mind that what I'm doing on this channel is taking this moment of awakening that I had and attempting to translate it for y'all. So, yeah, you're going to hear some stuff that probably sounds like law of attraction. Yeah, you're going to hear a lot of stuff that sounds like Neville. And you're going to hear, probably my own philosophy about things. But there is no appreciable difference at the heart of any of these seemingly different teachings. They're all attempting to describe the nature of reality, which is that you create your reality. That's it. You create your reality. That's the heart of it. Everything else is just a way of explaining it. You completely create your reality. I say and Neville says that is through your beliefs, through your self-concept. I read The Power of Awareness last night again, and I was surprised because I haven't read it since December. I was surprised at how much it follows my own experience. And like my last couple of videos, what I described there, Neville was basically saying the exact same thing. A man's self-concept is his reactions to the outer world, and that's how it creates. That was what I was kind of trying to say in my last couple of videos. So Neville's my homeboy. I've got no problem with Esther Hicks. I've got no problem with whoever else are the law of attraction people. I can clearly see that everybody's trying to describe the same thing. So it's really what speaks to you, and that's all I want to say.